My jealous mother-in-law tried to sabotage my marriage, and I almost let her okay. I'm about to share the most insane thing that happened recently, and I still can't believe it. If this doesn't sound like a bad soap opera, I don't know what does. So I, 28F, married my husband Chris, 30M, about a year ago. We've been together for about 4 years, and I thought everything was pretty solid. That is, until his mom Karen, 50, started acting, well, strange. At first, I thought it was just the typical overbearing mom thing. She would give me unsolicited advice, pop in uninvited, and sometimes say passive-aggressive things about me to Chris like, "You really should have gotten a nicer dress for the wedding, honey," or "I just think he's been a little more distant lately, don't you think?" I'd brush it off, but after a while, it got more uncomfortable. She started showing up to our place all the time, practically demanding our time, and even tried to take over our holiday plans. It felt like I was competing with her for my husband's attention, and I hated it. Then came the incident. Chris and I had a quiet weekend planned, just the two of us. We hadn't had a lot of alone time lately, so I was really looking forward to it. But of course, Karen had other plans. Out of nowhere, she shows up at our door, unannounced as usual. She tells me she's in the neighborhood and thought she'd stop by for a quick chat. Now, I'm all for family, but I know Karen. When she says quick chat, it's never quick. I try to tell her that we already have plans, but she doesn't take the hint. She waltzes in like she owns the place and starts making herself at home. In the living room. I swear she was even making herself a cup of tea while I stood there dumbfounded. Chris comes out from the bedroom and just gives me this apologetic look like he knew exactly what was going on. Long story short, I'm getting increasingly frustrated, but I try to stay calm. But then, she drops the bombshell. She turns to Chris and says, "You know, honey, I've been thinking, maybe you're just too young to be married yet. I mean, you've been with her for years, but how do you really know if she's the one? Maybe you should take some time apart to figure things out." I thought I was going to lose it. I was staring at her like, "Are you seriously trying to break us up right now?" She was so obviously trying to plant seeds of doubt in his mind. Chris didn't say anything at first, but I could see it on his face. He looked confused, distant even. And that's when I snapped. I calmly told Karen that she was being out of line, that her opinions weren't needed, and that she needed to leave. Immediately. She didn't take that well at all. She started saying things like, "I only want the best for you, honey," and "I just want to make sure you're not settling." Eventually she left, but the damage was done. Chris and I had a huge argument that night. He apologized, but I could tell it really shook him. I'm not sure if it's because he was torn between me and his mom, or if she actually made him second-guess things. The next few weeks were a constant battle. Karen kept trying to get in touch with him, texting him about how unhappy I seemed in our marriage and how we needed to talk. It was manipulative, and honestly, I almost lost it. I had a decision to make. Either let her continue to undermine me and my marriage, or put my foot down. I decided on the latter. I told Chris that it was me or her. I couldn't keep dealing with her meddling. It wasn't easy, but Chris finally stood up to her. He told her that he loved me and that he was done with the constant interference. After a very tense phone call, Karen finally backed off. Things are better now, but I'm still dealing with the aftermath. It's been an emotional roller coaster, but I've learned a lot about setting boundaries. As for Karen, she still texts Chris, sometimes, but she knows where we stand now. I just hope she can respect that.